What is up? Welcome to Moody Talk Sports. I am giving you my Week 5 NFL Sunday picks. Still in the negative. We've got college football today, and so I'm hoping that'll kind of propel me and get me closer back to 500, but it's a long season. We'll get there. We're just off to a rocky start. So when it comes to tomorrow's picks, we got some good games. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Starting with Minnesota going into the dog pound. And listen, I made a bet last week. I bet Cleveland when they played Green Bay because it was 7.5 points. And I made the statement, it's hard to go into Cleveland. It's hard to play in the dog pound. Right now, Minnesota just really isn't as good as a lot of people thought they were going to be. And I know they have a great defensive coordinator, but I'm taking the 3.5 points. I think it's going to be a close game. The over-under is only set at 35.5. So Vegas thinks it's going to be very, very close. I think it'll be very low scoring as well, which means those 3.5 points are huge. I'm taking them. All right, next up we have Houston Texans going into Baltimore, and Baltimore gets 1.5. Now, listen, I understand Lamar's out. I get that. I know there's some injuries, but Houston has not looked good this year. And frankly, I've seen this movie before. I've seen Baltimore have to bring in, for a while it was Huntley, and they try to always get a guy kind of like Lamar Jackson a little bit that kind of fits the scheme, and that way they can keep the same offense. I've seen this before where Baltimore still does really well, and I don't know if Baltimore necessarily is going to blow anybody out here, but with them being at home and it being 1.5 against the Texans, I'm taking Baltimore plus the 1.5. That's a no-brainer for me. Next up, we have New York Giants going to the New Orleans Saints. The Saints actually are favored in this game, which is very surprising. It very well could be the only game they're favored in all year. I'm still going to take New York plus the 1.5. I'm not ready to put any money on New Orleans at the moment. I just refuse to do it. They have to prove to me otherwise. And right now, they just have not looked like an NFL team. They've looked like the type of team that we always joke about and say, okay, what's the best college team? Okay, that team should play that team and see who can get in the NFL. Anyway, but yeah, no, just not impressed so far. Miami Dolphins going to Carolina Panthers. Carolina at home. I'm actually going to take Carolina plus the 1.5. With Tyreek out, the Dolphins just don't seem like they're playing some really good football lately. They just seem like there's some missing pieces. Like it's just they're not on the same page. Carolina is a very up and down team, and they were up 2 weeks ago, and they were not as up last week, and so I think they're going to be up again this week. So we'll see, especially being at home. Las Vegas Raiders at Indianapolis Colts. This originally was a 7 to 7.5 point game, but right now the line is 6.5. And so since it's 6.5, I am going to take Indianapolis minus the 6.5. At 7.5, it kind of made me nervous, but at 6.5 touchdown, I could see this being a touchdown game. So I'm going to take Indianapolis. Denver Broncos going into the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to take Denver plus 4.5. I'm one of those guys that is not a hater of the Eagles, but I'm on the same notion that I see a lot of people talking about, which is Philadelphia just doesn't look that great. And I know they're 4-0, but like they only play one half of football. And I think there's a lot of coaching that goes into that. I get it. All that matters is wins. There's no pictures on the scorecard. I completely agree with all that. But eventually someone's got to knock them off. And I don't know if Denver will necessarily knock them off, but at 4.5 points, I will take those and we'll see what happens. Dallas Cowboys going into the New York Jets. I am going to take the Dallas Cowboys. The Jets still just haven't looked great. And frankly, Dallas right now, I just got done doing my top 10, quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. Cowboys had one on every single one. In fact, I had Dak Prescott at my number one. I explained on there. You can go if you're interested in that. But it's crazy how good Dallas has been, especially offensively this year, despite the expectations, which were very, very low. So I'm taking Dallas there. Tennessee Titans at Arizona Cardinals. This is a really big line. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Tennessee Titans plus 8.5, just because I don't know if Arizona is really that good, but eventually Tennessee's got to do something, right? I understand you have a first-year quarterback. I understand you have a kind of still fresh head coach. But at a certain point, you got to show something. You got to come out and have a decent game. And I'm not saying it needs to be a perfect game, but this isn't a dome. This isn't a controlled environment. And this is where, if you're Tennessee, you got to put up or shut up. And so at least keep it within a touchdown. Am I asking too much? I don't think I am. Come on. All right. Next up, scroll down a little bit. Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into Seattle. Me being a Buccaneer fan, this is more heart than it is head. But I'm going to take Buccaneers plus the 3.5 just because Buccaneers are good at keeping games close. They're good at, at least keeping the score somewhat, most of the time. So maybe they lose by 3 and maybe I still win that. We'll see. Washington Commanders going to the LA Chargers. The LA Chargers are coming off a really rough loss. That's going to upset you. Most teams that have a rough loss come back the following week and do pretty well. Chargers are at home, so I'm going to go ahead and lay the 2.5 points, and I'm going to go with the Chargers. Detroit Lions going into Cincinnati, 10.5. Boy, that's a lot of points. Boy, can I pass? I don't like the line at all. Based on what I've seen with the Bengals, 10.5 is just so many points for an NFL game. But because Cincinnati has just looked so bad, especially with Jake Browning last week, I'm going to go ahead and say that maybe Cincinnati bounces back a little bit since they're at home. I'm going to take the 10.5. But boy, I don't feel comfortable with that game at all. The more I say it out loud, the more pit in my stomach I get. New England is going into Buffalo, and it is a 8.5 game. Listen, I'm going to take New England plus the 8.5. These divisional games are a lot tougher than people give them credit for. New England's a better team than a lot of people think. And right now, Buffalo hasn't really had that tough of a schedule, so this will be a good test. But I could see this being a touchdown game, so I'm going to take those 8.5 for sure. Kansas City. Okay, so hold on. So that's Monday night. Okay, so that's our Sunday games then. Tonight is New England Buffalo. Cool. All right. Well, that's my picks for tomorrow. Let's see how they do. I'm going to hope we can get back into the green or at least get back up to 500, get close. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.